My name is Madeleine Thien, and I just want to thank Anna, Alan, and Jim for asking me to say a few words. In 1999, I was the editor of Ricepaper. This is one of our early issues. I didn't last long. I only lasted 3 issues. At the time, I thought it was extremely unwise to put the magazine in my hands because I really didn't know anything. I hadn't read the things I should have read, and I was full of aspirations, but I had very little experience. I'd worked in a tuxedo shop at McDonald's and at a Chinese restaurant in North Vancouver. But I truly embraced the idea of making space for other artists. The question was how to support them without limiting them, how to engage their identity without defining that identity, how to speak on behalf of a group, or to a group, or as a group. The questions that I had when I edited Ricepaper 14 years ago haven't really left me. But there's one thing I can say more confidently now, and that is that the need for something like Ricepaper is real. Perhaps the necessity for it is more acute now than it was 14 years ago. And if you'll allow me, I'm going to say something slightly controversial now. Please do not throw your chopsticks at me. In the literary world, writers read one another, assess one another, review, critique, and award one another. Together, they decide the work that will be visible and the work that will remain invisible. In reviewing and critiquing the work of Asian, South Asian, African, and Arab Canadian writers, our critics simply do not have a great depth of knowledge, whether that be historical context or literary precedents. I've seen this on the prize juries and on the grant juries on which I have served. And each time I've seen it, I've told myself that it was just an anomaly. It is only now, after more than 10 years of seeing these patterns, that I feel confident in saying that it is not an anomaly, but a fixed pattern that is very difficult to shift. As some of you may have noticed, aside from Joseph Boyden on this year's Giller Longlist, the list was composed entirely of white writers. It is worth noting that in 10 years of the Writers' Trust Fiction Prize, only 8 non-white writers have ever been nominated, and this number includes Rawi Haj 3 times. In fact, until Essie Edugyan won in 2011, no woman of color had ever been nominated in the history of the prize. In 10 years of the Giller, a total of 12 non-white writers have been shortlisted. But before you get too excited, this number includes twice each Rawi Haj, M.G. Vasanji, and Michael Ondaatje. I know that the reasons for this are very complex, but I truly believe that for a strong literature to emerge, writers need opportunities. They need doors to open, support in the forms of grants, nominations which translate into visibility, and if not, some writers will lose the opportunity to perfect their craft because literature is a craft and it requires time, commitment, a paycheck, publisher support, and intelligent critical response. Certainly the astonishing works created by women writers in the 20th century are a testament to this fact. So I just want to put that out there, and I want to raise a toast to Ricepaper, to thank them for engaging with this question, for being part of the struggle to find an answer, and for acting rather than simply wishing. So to Ricepaper, thank you.